Hello there and welcome back to another video about the Street Fighter miniature game. This time I thought I'd start talking about the campaign, the board game in general, as a lot of people don't fully realise maybe what it is I'm doing, because at the moment my videos just show me picking up Nintendo products and painting them. Basically the idea was that I would explain a little bit more about what Kickstarter was, because I fully understand that people might not know what Kickstarter is, how it operates, why there is a YouTube personality linked to this one. Also there is a board game company, Jasco, there behind it as well. So you've got a lot of these kind of different parties, if you like, all linked to this project, and then of course there's me as well. So basically what you're looking at is Angry Joe is a YouTube personality who does videos about the computer gaming industry mostly, and his popularity comes from his persona, if you like, where he gets very angry with companies riling up the people. Yes, go take the big companies down type of thing. So he obviously is a computer gamer. He is quite an avid board gamer as well, but his passion then for certain games, Street Fighter in this case, basically pushed him to go, well, we should design a board game for Street Fighter. And him and his close friend who plays a lot of Magic the Gathering got together and basically hashed out a card game, if you like. This video behind me is him, probably one of his first videos, basically showing his passion, his love for Street Fighter, and why he thinks it would be awesome if a Street Fighter the Miniatures game would exist. So we're talking a board game that is a one-on-one fighting game, but it has miniatures like the ones you're seeing behind me here, you know, these fantastic miniatures, which he is quite obsessed with. He obviously is one of those guys who buys miniatures of things that he likes, whether it be Superman or Batman or whatever, and he's making his own product now. Now, needless to say, he's made a reputation for getting angry at people when they don't do things professionally enough. So he's putting a lot of effort into making these miniatures perfect, as we can talk about later with his update videos, as in where the game is currently in development. So yes, he has a massive passion for Street Fighter and he wants to put this game together, which is fantastic because that's where I enter. Yes, I'm a board gamer, yes, I'm a computer game player, but my real passion, if you like, has always been Street Fighter. Street Fighter was the VIP, if you like, that has been closest to my heart when playing computer games. And now obviously I can blend that in with the fact that I like playing board games. On top of that as well, let's be honest, they're little toys, and I don't think that ever goes away, the fact that you want toys. I mean, a little bit about me then. 10 years ago I was playing a little bit of Warhammer. You fall into Warhammer, you tend to get roped into the shop and they sell you these expensive pieces of plastic and you end up painting them or whatever, and it's almost like I'm talking about a form of addiction, which is not far off the mark, to be honest. But I did enjoy my time in Warhammer. Playing with the right people would obviously make that game quite enjoyable. I think most games can be enjoyable, but it definitely had this X factor, which is quite hard to explain, this miniature obsession, this miniature craze. Going back to Kickstarter again, I mean, Kickstarter for board games has been fantastic, and it's in no little part to this little X factor that I'm having difficulty in describing. This X factor of when you have these miniatures in a game, it just makes it so desirable. You could have a game about anything, but if there are little miniatures, little people that you can move around false terrain or even a diorama-esque terrain, there's this, I don't know, there's this attraction that just belongs in people. I mean, surely there are some people watching this video thinking, what's he talking about, he's just obsessed. But I think a large majority of people who are into any form of gaming tend to look at a miniature version of something. I'll tell you what, I've almost answered my own question. Hornby Railways, you know, the miniature train locomotives, well, that was going on years and years and years ago. So it's the same kind of factor. It's that having a miniature railway, having a miniature town, having a miniature thing, of a thing that you control over, you preside over, you're almost like a god over the little things happening in the world. I think there's something really, really attractive about that proposition. Anyway, without going into the psychology of why people like little things, which is weird, what I was explaining about Kickstarter, a crowdfunding site. Okay, so back in March 2018, I'm not sure, I'll have to edit that to see exactly when. I think it was March 2018. Angry Joe ran this campaign. Here he is behind me speaking to people about how it's going to be an amazing game and put things together and blah blah blah. And obviously, at the end of the day, he's looking for money. Okay, everyone basically buys the game back in March 2018 with the hope that the game would arrive at some point in the future. They tend to give you an indication. I think it was summer 2019 where they were hoping to get the game out. Here we are, and you get all these kind of lists and stuff explaining the features in the game, and also they have a little kind of bait at the end of a hook where if more people back, we'll give you a little bit more inside the box. Now, these are all fun and games, yeah, they know exactly how much they were doing from day one, really, but obviously they needed to be a success. So, of course, it funded so many hundreds of percent over what they planned for, because they didn't truly plan for that. They were hoping with the success, and if it did do well, that they would make, you know, $2 million or whatever coming in, and they would use that money to fill this. There we are, there's the little path of stretch goals, they call them, that you would get. Needless to say, it smashed all of them. You know, they took all the money they were hoping to, and off they pop then. So once that month of hubbub and promotion, and there's even videos online of Joe behind me here playing the games, which are great. You can watch them and see how the game plays out and stuff. They're great. Since then, it's been a wait, and it's always a long wait with Kickstarter. Now, this is where I will slightly annoy some people, because I'm okay waiting forever for the game, to be honest. He obviously, time of filming this, we're very late in 2019 now. You might be watching this in 2020, and I always had in the back of my mind a year later than the year they presumed. It always tends to be the case. I've done quite a few Kickstarters, and you tend to get a little feel for how late they really are running. Actually, as of now, it does look like it's going to be even later than that, so we're probably looking at Christmas 2020. Now, that's something I can say without any fear of repercussion, where Angry Joe probably can't say that because he's going to get a lot of blowback off the community. Just remember, the only reason the community feels quite precious about it is because they've given him their money. He has my money, and that transaction is almost backward, isn't it? Where you pay now, get later. It's kind of the opposite for a popular sofa firm in the UK. Anyway, so that's Kickstarter. That's where we're at the moment. Where the game is at the moment, well, there's basically updates that tend to land about once a month. As we get close to the end of the month, normally people start getting twitchy that they haven't had one in 30 days. And all the updates are doing at the moment are quite similar to some of my videos, showing miniatures and poking at things, saying, oh look, that's slightly different, this is slightly wrong, we want to change this. And to be honest, it's making Angry Joe look like the type of perfectionist that you would want running this kind of campaign. He does a good job, I think, of slowly drip feeding enough information without openly saying, look, it's going to be Christmas 2020, you might even get your hands on it in 2021, which is probably realistic at this point. He's working with a factory in China, obviously, to make them. They have got a board game company linked in to this situation, which I think is quite important to say. Jasco Games. Now, Jasco Games produce board games, so they have got quite a bit of experience in it. But obviously, you have Jasco Games involved, but you have Capcom involved. Now, this is Capcom's baby, if you like. Street Fighter is their most successful game by a country mile. They've got a lot of other games which are okay, or they're loved in different pockets or whatever. Resident Evil is probably another universal one, but Street Fighter is by far the most precious intellectual property that Capcom have still got a hold of. So I am sure there are problems there with Capcom having to see every single piece of art, shade of colouring, flick of hair, expression on characters' faces to just coincide with what Capcom say Chun-Li is like, and say this is how Ryu is portrayed. Ken shouldn't be looking like this, or violent Ken shouldn't look like this. So there's all these different things that I'm sure Capcom have to be involved, and you know they need to, because Angry Joe could be anybody just running with their license. They've got the permission to use it, but they could absolutely destroy it. So Capcom are obviously going to keep him on a tight leash, and this probably is slowing him down. Now, as I say, the miniatures so far look brilliant. These are the updates that we do get fed once a month, and to be honest, that is keeping the hype up, if you like. So I had in the back of my mind, back to why I'm doing these videos, of painting these miniatures when they arrive, and I've had so much time to wait, I've actually thought, well, why not make a little video series or document myself doing it. I've had enough time to do so and think about it, and I've managed to do it. Also, it might give me a bit of an incentive to keep at it and to make sure I get these miniatures done. So that was basically a little bit of history about the Street Fighter the Miniatures game, and where it's come from, the kind of troubles it might be having behind closed doors, of course. But it's going to get there, and every single person who has paid for this game is going to get the game. And we can go into details about how much I paid for it and what you actually get. Maybe it's better to do that at the time, because I think it's going to be amazing what you actually get for your money. You know, I mentioned in the previous video, I think it's somewhere between $350 to $400 is the amount I've spent. But when you see, hopefully, I can look back at this video and laugh at myself in about a year and a half's time when all these boxes turn up, and I'll be really excited, and I'll have it all, and I've paid for it now almost 2 years ago. So really, I don't miss the money. It was basically a statement or a thing that you do, you know, a few years ago, where you go, right, okay, I'm paying all this money and I've got nothing to show for it for a couple of years. And again, when this thing does land, they go on my table like this, and it looks all nice and lovely. And it's not just a 2-player game, as I did in the example earlier. It can be a 6-player game. You've got terrain on there. Well, I'm not going to try and sell you it, right? Because in a funny way, in 2 years' time when I have mine, you won't be able to buy this. So I'm really sorry if I'm showing you all these nice things and you not being able to buy it. Currently, though, as of end of 2019, I believe the Pledge Manager is still open. So there is a way to join by going onto the Pledge Manager, paying the same amount that I would have paid, and choosing what tier you'd like. Be careful if you're getting into it right now, though, because you still might have 2 years to wait for the game to land, or about a year and a half, maybe, being realistic. About a year and a half wait, so you're buying something, you are not getting it. I think people need to be certain of that, okay? So there we are. That is a very long rant, apologies, about things as a whole, where the game stands. I will definitely try and make this video, hopefully I've tried to make this video a bit more interesting with some pictures of what's going on and stuff, not just this screen behind me. I just felt like there was a lot of things that I've not gone over, which obviously has been news to me, you know, a year and a half ago. I've had all these things ruminating and stuff, but obviously to let you know, kind of, it had to be a 15-minute video just to kind of tell you what's going on and where it's at. And obviously I don't truly know. I only have to go on the little updates and things. So I think, yeah, more waiting. I think that's basically what we need to do. However, I did promise the next video would have been paints to get started on the amiibos. So that's literally what I'm going to do. After I've done this with video, I'm going to go into my other room and I'm going to find out where all those paints are from my Warhammer days, see which paints are still going, find some decent brushes and try and set things up maybe on here so I can start painting, hopefully. Okay, thanks for watching this very long video. I mean, you can drop any questions you like about the game down there and I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. However, I don't scour all comments, all videos and whatever, even though I've watched these videos behind me quite a few times just to see what's going on there. It's a lot of stuff. Okay, there's a lot of stuff been going on for a year and a half, so it's basically, there's a whole plethora of different angles and avenues, and they said this was going to be in the game. No, they didn't. They said this was going to be in the game. There's a lot of that. But eventually, I don't care. It's all going to turn up and it'll all be pretty nice, I think. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.